A little background on this video. I succumbed to shiny object syndrome and I bought the Holbein irodori spring set. I wanted to challenge myself and use this set on its own as if that's the only palette I had. So I knew that it would be a challenge because there's some limitations with this palette. The biggest one being that there's no white or black in the set. So, but I like working on colored and toned papers. So I wanted to test how this gouache would do on a black background. So I did, I wouldn't call it cheating, my own challenge, but you know, I'm going to be using this palette in the future and I want to see how it looks with the black behind it. So I prepped my papers first and I wanted to start, of course, with the swatches, saying how the colors looked full strength and diluted. Wanted to see how well they covered, so I put it straight up on the black background, and I saw some colors covered better than others. Obviously, the ones with white in the mix covered better on the black background. And then I set up page 2 with the intention of using all the colors in the palette on those 2 pages, and then I skipped to the 3rd page because I wanted to try limited palettes on that one. I sectioned the page off into 6 squares and so I can try 6 different color schemes. Wasn't getting enough darkness out of just using the colors full strength, so I ended up mixing vermilion and Dayflower blue, the dark blue, together to get that dark color on the beak and the eye of this bird. And after that I realized that I had to do a color chart so I can see where my darks and my lights are and see what the colors look mixed together, because I thought I would know just by looking at the colors what they would turn out like, but no, I couldn't just guess what the colors were going to look like mixed. So I got these pictures from a Birds in Bloom book. None of them look exactly like the birds in the magazine itself. I mean, the colors are, of course, are different because I was working with this palette, and I changed the birds in some way. So, but I needed a reference because there's different types of birds, and I wanted to make sure that I got different characteristics on all the birds. I really tried to resist making a color chart because they are really time consuming and pretty tedious to make, but they are indispensable. It is a cool, not a cool tool, but it's a good tool to have. It's something that I will use over and over again. This color chart took me, I think, 3 days on and off working on it. Usually I paint my color charts on a big piece of paper and I post them in my art room, but because I wasn't quite sure if I was going to be using this palette on its own, I decided just to do it in my sketchbook this time. What you were seeing me do in that little clip was for each color mix will have 2 squares with the same 2 colors mixed. I mix heavier with the one color on one of the squares and heavier on the other color for the other square, so I can see 2 different versions of the same mix. So after finishing the color chart, I found a couple colors that I wanted to see what the shift change would be going from one color to the other on the bottom of the chart. So I chose Seedling, which is a bright green, and see how it transitioned into Bellflower, which is a purple. And I also did the blue Dayflower mixed with the vermilion red. I love the next song that's coming up. I think it's hilarious. It's like babies giggling and squeaky toys. I think it works well with the picture that I'm painting here. So I'm going to work on this blackened inked area today. Last night I was at work and I had this idea to try to put as much cuteness into a small area as possible. So I took 5 minutes and just kind of made this really rough draft of a little sloth or bear on a magic carpet, and I'm going to put him right on this side because I think cuteness goes well with the color palette. this other painting so it doesn't distract me while I'm working on that guy. Bless you. At this point, I realized that color had leaked underneath the tape, and that's not the first time that happened. I used ink on another piece, and for some reason the tape doesn't seal on the ink very well. There's some leakage, so I ended up going back and erasing it.